Hi, and welcome to Witchy Sips, the podcast where we talk about witchy things and where our drinks are witchy sips. I'm Dario, your host, and our guest, Art, and we're going to talk about astrology today. Art, what's in your witchy sip today?
Today I'm drinking a taro tea, taro boba tea, for a very specific reason, but I'll let you know later.
Oh, okay, cool. I am actually drinking green tea. It's a green tea with cinnamon and ginger, because I don't know why. Like the transition time in between the seasons is always hard for me because I have a particular drink that I like at Starbucks, but it's never like the right time. So I just make my own.
Which is actually kind of why I got this too, because it's a milk tea. And funny that you have that kind, because on February 1st and 2nd, it's going to be imbolc, which is, one of the pagan holidays. And actually one of the foods that you can drink and eat are cinnamon, milk, and honey. And it's specifically, imbolc is like, it's supposed to be the in-between time between winter and spring.
Oh.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, like, right in between.
That's
so
perfect.
That's perfect.
Very liminal space, very in between,
Very
up in the air. So, well, yay, imbolc, I'm excited for that, and which is exactly when we're going to be releasing this episode, because also, apologies, because Witchy Sips has been on hiatus for the whole month of January, but as I was telling Art, it's going to be season 2, and we're back and ready for more. But yes, imbolc, February 1st and 2nd, which we're really excited about. But today, for the most part, we're going to be talking about astrology. I have this book called The House Your Stars Built, and I was doing research on the houses. But before we get into that, I know you have some books too. What do we know what our big three are? Do you have your big three? What are your big three?
I have my big three. My big three is Sun in Cancer, Rising Cancer, and Moon in Aries.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool. I have Sun in Gemini, Moon in Libra, and Rising is Capricorn.
Capricorn. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
A little bit. It's air, earth.
Mine is water, fire, water.
Okay,
So
cool deal.
I have like a lot of water and fire in my chart.
I think I'm a good mix of a little bit of everything, I think. Because I know my Mars is in Pisces, my Venus is in Cancer. Actually, you know what? I don't have very many fire signs in my chart.
My Mars is in Leo, so there's the other fire. And then I have my Venus in Cancer, which is more water. And I think my Uranus and my Saturn are in Capricorn.
My Jupiter's in Capricorn.
Jupiter's in Capricorn. It's like a whole generation too, so like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it said 1984 to 2000 are all Capricorn.
Oh, perfect. And there's a whole thing about the Saturn return, which I have, I think, what is it, every 13, 15, 16? Every few years in the teens,
Might
maybe?
be, yeah. I'm like, I really like astrology, and I like dabbling in it and like learning about it, but I'm definitely not a master of astrology. And I've heard Saturn's return thrown around, and it's supposed to come like around in your 30s.
Right, yeah.
So I'm not too sure, but it probably might have already happened or coming again. Or I think it comes several times.
Right. That's why I think it comes like every 14 point something years. So in your 30 is like the very big noticeable one when like big things happen, big changes, and a lot of expansion happens. But so what do we know about the science?
What do we know about the signs? There are 4 elements, 12 signs, 4 elements. So there's Aries to begin with. That starts in March. And then it's Taurus, then Gemini, then Cancer, then Leo, then Virgo, then Libra, then Sagittarius, then Scorpio, then Capricorn, and then, oh my gosh, well, I know these all the time. What did I leave off on?
Capricorn?
Capricorn,
and then
Aquarius, and Pisces.
there you go.
Sorry.
I get really confused towards the
Towards
like
September,
around,
October-ish.
Yeah, that's where I get lost. Also at the very beginning too, like actually now I think it's gonna stick, the Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, that's gonna stick now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that always threw me off too.
And let me just I'm not sure if I did it wrong, but I think it's Virgo, it's Libra, it's Scorpio, then Sagittarius, then Capricorn. Okay,
Right.
I think I might have messed it up, but I just corrected it.
I think you did it right. I think, I'm not sure.
We'll see. Check
We'll
the
see.
video.
So yeah, and the four elements. So there are 3 signs per element, right? So Aries,
So it's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and
Aries, Leo, Sagittarius for fire, and Aquarius, Pisces. No, that's a lie.
so okay, so there's Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius as fire, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn in Earth, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius in air, and then there's Cancer. Hold on, it's because I want to do this in order. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces in water.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
You're much better at this than I am because I get them all confused. Because I don't go in order. I just have them grouped in their own little categories.
Totally with that. Like, why wouldn't Aquarius be water, right? Like
Right.
aqua. And then Scorpio is another one everyone thinks is fire. So
Yeah. For
You
the
would think.
longest time, yeah. For the longest time when I was like barely starting to like look into like astrology,
yeah,
I was like, Scorpio is such a fire sign. But it's not.
they are. They're like the feistiest of the water signs, actually.
And so, common characteristics for fire, air, water, earth. I find that, well, from what I've read,
Mm-hmm.
earth signs tend to be very grounded. Is that right? Very grounded, very cautious.
Yeah, they're very like Earth signs are definitely more cautious, more pragmatic, more. Yeah, I guess like also like I don't want to say that they stay home, but they're more like, well, hold on, let's think about this.
Right.
Yeah, and well, fire signs are like more like, yeah, no, let's do it. Let's high chaos. Let's go. And
Yeah.
this and that. Air signs, from my experience and what I've seen, they're very chatty. They're very friendly, especially Gemini.
I'm a very chatty person. I'm very friendly too.
Yeah, and Geminis just become friends with people out of nowhere. They could be in a line in a store, not speak to anyone, and someone just comes up to them and is like, "Hey, oh my gosh, I love that,"
Yeah.
and start doing that. My mom is a Gemini, and my friends are Geminis. I have a lot of Gemini friends, and then water signs, the emotional ones, as they say. Cancers are a bit emotional. I can get pretty emotional. I'm not as moody as they say that they are, but yeah. And then but they're very like loyal. They're very like loving, and they'll still care about you even if like you break up and it's like been 10 years. With what's the other air signs? No, I
Air
said air
signs,
signs.
yeah.
I already said air signs.
You did.
Oh, yeah.
Geminis, I'm very chatty, like I said, very friendly.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's very interesting about me. Also, talking about misconceptions a little bit in a minute, but very chatty, which is interesting because I can be so chatty and very in person with someone, a stranger that I don't even know.
Yeah.
But if I'm in a room full of people that I do know,
Mm-hmm.
or no, not so much that I do know, but like a room full of strangers that another friend of mine knows that they know the room,
Mm-hmm.
I will be very to myself. And I don't know if that has to do with my rising sign or my moon sign, but I will just really just shut down. But in the mall or in an airport full of strangers, I'll just talk to anyone
Yeah.
and everyone.
That happens, and I've seen that too. That's funny that you mentioned that, because the Geminis I know are very much like that. Like they can talk to like any stranger, but like in like more familiar social settings, they're almost like very reserved.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just an interesting combo, and that's why I love like astrology too.
It's definitely there's that duality, right? Which goes back to the thing I was gonna say about misconceptions. A lot of people say, I guess a lot of people that aren't really familiar with astrology, they're like, oh, Gemini, you're like two-faced, or
that's the thing that sticks, because it's twins and it's two-faced, right? It's like, no,
it's like, it's not that, it's just that I'm very quiet around certain people and I'm very outgoing around certain people. It's not that I'm two-faced, it's just that duality, right?
What I have noticed is that Geminis, and probably this goes into the misconception, but it is like something I've kind of noticed, is that Geminis like to keep secrets almost for the sake of keeping a secret. Like they have like their own like internal, like, I'm gonna keep the secret, it's gonna, it's almost like a boost, like.
Yeah, very much into the topic of like the ruling planet over Gemini is Mercury, very about communication, but also the other part of that communication is keeping it to yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't think I want to let you know.
Yeah. You don't need to know that.
Yeah. Speaking of Mercury, we're in Mercury Retrograde right now.
We are.
And last time I did an episode on Mercury Retrograde, it was kind of a hot mess. What can you clarify for us about Mercury Retrograde?
Mercury Retrograde. So, So, like, if you go to, like, an astrologer's, YouTube page, if you go to, like, the, astrology, like, Instagrams and TikToks, they tell you, Mercury Retrograde's about, like, just reflecting and all this stuff and just making sure that you're in the right place. But really, from my experience, it's been, like, bad luck season every single time. Like, something happens, and I work in a place that's, like, it's, like, very communications, like, we run on our communications, we have a ton of systems, and I work with a phone system, and you can set it like a clock. Mercury retrograde, that's when our phone system goes down. We had it like yesterday, and then also our emails are down and this and that, and also apparently you're supposed to double check your emails and anything you write, because you might fuck it up, and I definitely did that. I've sent emails more than usual of like that have like mistakes and accidents and stuff, and also that's like when a lot of bad stuff happens, and so like you're not supposed to attribute astrological events to like bad happenings, but it seems to have spike in Mercury retrograde
when there's a pattern.
Yes.
Typically for me, it happens towards the end.
Oh, the end is like the worst.
Yeah, and it's just communication mishaps, communication within my relationships, friendships or partnerships or whatever. Miscommunication is a big one, and but yeah, that tends to happen towards the end. But and yeah, like I've seen and I've read articles where what you should just reflect on how to navigate it, or and I think that's what I talked about in the previous episode, but it's always like you said, there's a pattern.
Yeah, there's a pattern. Like coming here, I came so unprepared.
I mean, it happens, right? And then also, we were in Venus retrograde recently.
I'm not too familiar with Venus retrograde. I think there's like maybe 2 other retrogrades right now, but yeah.
Are there really? I have no idea.
I have no idea. I mean, I have a slight idea, but
I think it's one of those things that I need to just like look into some more.
Yeah. Let me see.
Do you have an app?
Yes, I do. And it has like a ton of like every, like, this planet's doing this planet's doing that. Planets and sun. Currently retrograding, see, Venus in Capricorn and Mercury in Aquarius.
Oh, it ends tomorrow. Oh, no.
Venus in Capricorn retrograde ends on Saturday, and Mercury in Aquarius retrograde ends in a week.
Okay, well, here it goes.
Here it goes, yeah.
So, like I mentioned before, I was researching the houses. Are you familiar with the houses? Pretty familiar, somewhat familiar, not familiar at all? Because I am not familiar at all.
I am not familiar at all. I more understand the planets, like if you're placing in like maybe Venus or your moon and your Mars. I'm a little more familiar with that.
Okay.
But like the houses, I can't tell you anything about them.
So the houses, what I did research was so that there's a total of 12 houses, and depending where you have planetary placements in those houses, it affects these areas of your life. And so the first one is very much of the self-image, your persona. Second one has to do with your possessions, what and who you value. The third one rules over communication, learning, teaching, conversations, information. Fourth one talks about like family and home, your roots, your family. Fifth one is pleasure, and that may be like romance, creativity, art, how you have fun. The sixth one has to do with health, also your everyday work, what kind of service you do, and how you help people, and your health in general. Seventh one has to do with partnerships, relationships, and marriage. The eighth one is sex and death, which was very interesting, I thought.
It's probably Pluto in there somewhere.
Yeah. I think it is ruled by Pluto.
It probably is.
The ninth one has to do with philosophy, like travel, education, anything about expanding your mind. The 10th one is social status, career, vocation, public reputation, that kind of thing. 11th one is friendships, friends, community, hopes, wishes, dreams. The 12th one is about subconscious, your psychic abilities, dreams, secrets, that kind of thing. That's what I got from my book today on the internet. However, I'm still not quite certain how the planetary placements.
Yeah, I don't know how those factor it yet. I didn't get that far in my book yet. But yeah, I was reading about like certain placements, like what planets affect, like if a certain sign is in a planet, like how that affects your birth chart. And I know that connects to houses, and I'm not sure if it's going to be like the same thing, but I feel like obviously it's like connected.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Must be. I know you mentioned like Mars, for example. That's very action oriented. Is that correct?
Action. Yeah, it's how you take action, and also how you get mad too. So, I mean, yeah, because because I have a Mars in Leo, and when I get mad, I like to argue.
Really?
Because they say cancers, cancers are just gonna shy away and cry. I get angry and I argue back. It's almost like fulfilling to argue back.
Okay.
And I will have the last word as well. And it sucks when you have two people that want to have the last word. So.
Right. My Mars is in Pisces. Was it? I think it was. Yes, my Mars is in Pisces, my Venus is in Cancer. My Mars is in Pisces, and it tends to be like I'll get angry, but I'll let it go like soon thereafter. The way I take action is not very go-getter. It's very like, I'll get to it.
Yeah, I'll get to it. Very Pisces, essentially.
Very flow.
Very fluid.
Yeah, that's my Mars. You know what? Come to think of it, when I get angry, I will talk a lot.
You will talk a lot.
I'm very much a Karen when it comes to being angry on the phone with people.
Oh, really?
Like with customer service people. Yeah. Not like in a mean way, but
yeah.
like, I want this taken care of now.
Yeah, no, it's like, no, you're going to do this.
Yes.
Because this is what you're here for.
Yes.
Yes.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Because I do my job the way I expect others to do their jobs as well. Now, what about
Valid.
Saturn?
Saturn, I think, is about philosophy, I think. And it's how you learn, I think.
It's very of the mind, right?
Of the mind, yeah.
I believe Jupiter has to do with financial or wealth or expansion in regards to like finances, I believe. I'm not sure. Well, Jupiter in general is a very expansive planet. Saturn, I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, see, Saturn and Jupiter, they're so close planetarily. I don't.
They're both so big.
See, okay, so Jupiter in the signs of the zodiac gives information concerning a person's ethical, religious, and philosophic standards and beliefs. It shows the way that they express an interest, the way he expresses and his interest in philosophy and higher education. Indicates a person's expressiveness and how they do things on a large scale.
Which Dion is a Capricorn, and I know Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and he's very much in a happy place when he's learning.
Learning, yeah.
That's his happy place.
I think I have a Capricorn. I mean, my Jupiter's in Capricorn, and I love learning. Like I haven't gone to school for like 2 years, and I have like such a yearning for it, and I have like an obsession with like being like an eternal student, kind of, not like as in school forever, but just always learning, you know?
Right.
Like I love learning. I love teachers. I have such a high regard for teachers.
And myself, my rising is in Capricorn, and while I'm not a fan of a structured academic setting, I do love to learn. I like researching. In terms of what I do for work, I read articles for days and days on end about interpretation, language, and all that kind of stuff, and I just really enjoy that. As far as academic settings, I can do it, but not a fan. But very much Capricorn, and the fact that I do like to learn. Like you said, perpetual student, very much always learning something new.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, we talked about Mercury Retrograde. What about Venus? What do we know about Venus? I know it's very...
It's the love planet. It's how you love, and that's the main thing I get it from it, because I'm a Cancer and I'm like lovey-dovey. So let's see. The planet Venus in the signs of the zodiac gives important information how a person expresses his emotions in relationships, especially in love and marriage. It also gives important data on the attitude towards money, personal possessions, creature comforts, and social and aesthetic values.
Social and aesthetic values. I know also that Venus rules Taurus, and I know, you know what, I don't know very many Tauruses. The one Taurus that I did know a while back, she always looked real cute, always her hair done up, her makeup done. She was very about the aesthetics, which, you know, same here. I'm all about the aesthetics, about how something looks, how something is shot. My friend Audrey makes fun of me because every time I go watch a movie with her, even if I don't like the movie, I'm like, it was very beautifully shot. So that's one thing I can appreciate about Venus, the aesthetics of life.
My Venus is in Cancer, and with that placement, it makes me very like loyal and very like, because I'm a Cancer, and then plus like amplified by Venus in Cancer, like I'm like super like, I need affection, like I need like so much affection. Same. And I need like to be reassured and stuff. And also, I guess with the aesthetics part, I'm very extremely particular of how I want a place to look. Like if it's my own space, like I get super like, I'm like, no, I don't want that. If someone puts something there, or like I'm like, no,
it has to be just
like,
so.
It has to be just right. And yeah, like I love like decorating my space, and like I look forward to getting a home, like a whole house to myself one day, because I'm just gonna go crazy. So.
In regards to relationships, like you said, my Venus is also in Cancer. I'm I need attention.
Yes.
And give me reassurance.
Yeah.
I need you to pay attention to me.
Yes.
Please. that kind of thing. Very much. Ask Dion, he's annoyed with it sometimes.
Thankfully, my boyfriend's also Venus in Cancer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
so we both just love,
the cuddling, the attention
cuddle
giving,
fest.
and the whole thing.
Yeah.
Love it. Nice. Did Mercury, Venus, we live on Earth.
Earth does nothing.
Earth does nothing. We have
'Cause
Mars.
we live on Earth.
It's true. We have Mars, we have Jupiter, we have Saturn.
There's
Neptune,
also
Uranus?
Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto.
And Pluto. I don't know anything about those. I do know that Pluto rules Scorpio. That's all I know. And Neptune rules Pisces?
Neptune, you'd think, but no.
Is it one of those
Let me see.
tricky ones?
Yeah, it's one of those tricky ones. Let me see. I'm live research going on here, guys.
Live research. I just have a book about houses.
Pisces is ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. Okay, let me just do a rundown. Aries is ruled by Mars. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Cancer is ruled by the Moon. Leo is ruled by the Sun. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Libra by Venus. So they share some of these places. Signs share planets, and some even have doubles. Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus. And Pisces is ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Scorpio, Mars, and Pluto. I have a couple of Scorpio friends who are very action oriented, but very feisty too. Because Aries is also ruled by Mars, right?
Mhm.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
I'm not thinking.
I never thought about that. Maybe that's why they do. Yeah.
Yeah. I know I can tell you what they represent.
Mm-hmm.
So, in regards to planetary placements, planets and their meanings, the sun represents your consciousness, your ego, your strength, your resilience.
Yeah.
Your moon represents unconsciousness, feelings, very feeling oriented, and your habits.
Mm-hmm.
Mercury, as we said, communication, intellect, reason, intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Venus, attraction, love, harmony, relationships, art, beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Mars, sex, desire, courage, passion, action.
Mhm.
Jupiter, abundance, growth, optimism, understanding. Saturn, like you mentioned. This one mentions rigidity, obligation, ambition, which I guess falls into like that, in line with like wanting to learn and philosophy, ambition towards those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Neptune, dreams, mysticism, imagination, fantasy. Uranus, transformation, nonconformity, eccentricity. Pluto, death, rebirth, and evolution.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it falls into the houses that you.
yes, the houses, and I tell you, the houses, going back to that, each house is ruled by a specific planet, and I can tell you, no, each house is ruled by a sign.
Okay.
And they start, so they go counterclockwise. And the first house is left.
Would be Pisces then?
Huh?
Because it starts with Aries, ends with Pisces. Would it begin with Pisces and end with Aries?
It actually starts with, I will tell you.
I have to do like astrology episode 2 eventually.
Yes. So it starts with Aries, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
And your first house is usually your ascendant, where your ascendant sign is. But that's separate from the houses and which signs rule the houses. So the first house is ruled by Aries, second by Taurus, third Gemini, fourth Cancer, fifth Leo, sixth Virgo, and so on until 12th it ends with Pisces.
Yes.
But they're very much in line with what the houses represent and how they are tied into those signs that rule them.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's probably why they call them the houses instead of like, what is your Aries in?
Yeah.
You know, that'd be kind of weird because you have first house, sign of Aries.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And even some tend to fall, like the cusp of the house tends to fall in between two signs sometimes, or two signs fall into the same house,
Mm-hmm.
which that's the part that gets me a little bit confused, which I need to do some more research on.
Yeah.
But, so that's what we have for astrology so far.
Mm-hmm.
In my head,
Same.
that's what we have. That's all we have. But, fun fact, you mentioned that February, when is
February
Chinese?
1st into February 2nd. Yeah. Is imbolc.
Sorry, Chinese New Year.
Oh, and then, yeah, Chinese New Year is on February 1st, I believe.
How exciting, Year of the Tiger.
Year of the Tiger.
A fun fact about that, I was doing some research on Chinese astrology as well because all the astrologies, right?
Because all the astrology.
So you mentioned that you're Year of the Snake.
Yes, I am Year of the
Yes.
Snake.
I am Year of the Dragon.
Year of the Dragon.
And so it turns out that there are 5 elements that their signs have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a total of 60. It's a 60-year cycle. Where so each sign has to go through each element at least once.
Yes.
And I didn't know that. So whereas you are Year of the Snake in 89, right?
In 89, yeah.
Dion is Year of the Snake in 77, but you are, I forget which element you fall under. He's under
think I'm a
completely
metal
different.
snake.
Okay.
I think, yeah, because there's the 4 elements are fire, earth, metal, and water.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And wood.
And wood, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they have
That's 5, yeah, that's right.
they have a 60-year cycle because it's 5 elements, and I'm Year of the Dragon, but an Earth year, I believe.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
I know. My gosh. Yeah, see, it's like you can't just do it in a bite size. Astrology is like long and
It
hard,
is.
but I've heard that it's very rewarding to like learn it. So
Yeah.
which is why I'm trying to study it.
And which is interesting to me because we have so many astrology systems, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're all equally valid, and they all work not the same, but they all give similar results when you're like looking into them and stuff. So I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, same.
What else do we have? You were talking about imbolc. What do you have on imbolc?
What do I have on imbolc? Imbolc, like we said at the beginning, is the midpoint between winter, which was Yule, and then the next one, which is Ostara. So that's why it's definitely set on February 1st to 2nd, which is not like the beginning of February 1st, it's actually towards the evening, and then February 2nd, the morning. So like the between that time, the sunrise and sunset, that's when it's celebrated. And it's a very fiery celebration, so there's fires, there's candles, that's how you celebrate that. But also it's a time of cleaning, it's a time of setting intentions, getting rid of the past. It's kind of like because we're exiting winter and now the days are getting more longer and warmer. It's supposed to be a time when the earth is like very, pregnant with life and for the forthcoming of spring. So it's a good time. Because I was hearing it on a podcast, it's like how we have January 1st and we tend to set our intentions then. Typically, this was the time, imbolc was the time that you would actually set your intentions because of that midpoint of winter kind of being cut and slowly going away and going into spring. So that's when people would set their intentions. So
Nice.
yeah,
I love that. And so I guess that still gives us time to do our vision boards, right? That was the last episode that I did, talking about vision boards and setting intentions and setting up for what we want to do for this coming year. funny that you mentioned candles and fiery things and cleaning, because I had tons of candles today, but we only managed to fit one today because we have our witchy sips and we have our books.
Yes.
And our new microphone. Woo! But also about cleaning, is that where we get spring cleaning from, I imagine?
Yes, and I looked it up. Actually, spring cleaning is typically in April, but apparently the tradition does actually come from imbolc, and that this is the time that you start cleaning out, getting rid of like the stuff you don't want, need, and have no use for. This would be the time to do it, and a symbol for imbolc is actually the broom.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of spring cleaning, like I mentioned to you earlier, I started my spring cleaning early, which I guess is perfect in time for imbolc, because I cleaned out my closet. Now I only have clothes that actually fit. So that's exciting. And I guess I still have time to do my vision board because I still have not done mine. And it's something I've always wanted to do.
Well, you still have time. I mean, by the time this records, you have that much time.
Oh, that's true.
When this is put out.
Yeah, I agree. One thing... Oh, anything else?
I forgot to say that it was... it's one of those Christianized holidays, because imbolc is also called Candlemas, and that's the Christianized holiday of it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so imbolc is also majorly celebrates the goddess, the Gaelic goddess Bridget.
Okay.
But when it was Christianized, along came a saint named Saint Bridget.
Oh,
so it was very, and it's funny, the information I read on it, it was like, on Saint Bridget, they can't find too many factual connections with her, like that she actually existed. So I don't know if this was just like a bald face, one that they really didn't try on. They were like, there's a Bridget somewhere, make her a saint. Make her a saint. And so on Candlemas, and it's also the feast of Saint Bridget, but of course it's predated for imbolc, which celebrates the goddess Bridget.
Nice, interesting. I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
What happens during a Candlemas? Do you know?
Candlemas. I didn't get that far into it. I kind of stayed in imbolc, and I was like, that was interesting. I just kind of looked up Saint Bridget really quick, but yeah, she was very much a mirror of the goddess Bridget, which is like, she was a goddess of, she was the saint of like healing and learning and protection, and the goddess Bridget is of divination, of learning of power, of knowledge, and so it was very in that same vein. So.
Well, I loves me a good candle, especially a good smelling candle at that. So I'm excited to keep burning my candles. And since you mentioned the goddess Bridget had to do with divination, it brings me to our ending segment, which is what I had talked about before, that this year I wanted to end off speaking about a tarot card every episode. I guess I didn't actually figure it out, or I didn't plan it out, because #procrastinator is me. So I guess I could always just start with like an order, right? So the Fool. You mentioned you dabble in tarot as well, right?
I just started dabbling in tarot in 2020, and a little bit more last year, but I just bought more books on tarot, and so I'm kind of getting back into it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, tarot, what does the Fool mean to me? So, in terms of the Fool in tarot, we have it talking about very much innocence, new beginnings, free-spiritedness. And if you're someone that reads reversals, do you plan on reading reversals?
Especially like just starting out, kind of just sticking to the right side up ones.
Okay.
But I see definitely the usefulness, and I do want to get into reversals eventually. But I feel like I just need to learn the right side up.
Right. So, for someone that does read reversals, it talks about very much recklessness or being taken advantage of or taking advantage of people. Also, in consideration, it's very that shadow side of the Fool, of that innocence, right? Of that free spiritedness.
Being naive.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and going along with our astrology, the Fool card is ruled by Uranus, and its element is air.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yes.
It's the 0 card.
It's the 0 card, yes. I think I want to do an episode on tarot only, but
That's
I'm not
a
sure
big one
what.
too.
Yeah, it's a toughie. That one might have to be in segments. I think astrology should have been in segments too.
I think we've discovered, astrology and tarot are probably in segments.
Yeah, but for now, that's your tarot tidbit for today. It's very, very brief, to the point, very summarized. So it's not an in-depth analysis of the Fool card, which there's a lot to be said about each card in the tarot because
oh yeah, each one is like a riddle.
Yeah, and even reading just right side up, getting a feel for the situation, even the right side up meaning can give you so much information about whatever you're reading about. But that's what we have for today for you all. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all enjoyed our casual chat about astrology.
Yeah.
And we'll be back soon. This year, can we expect to have you again?
Yes, of course.
Awesome.
I love doing these.
And then Audrey will be back for sure.
Yeah.
So
can't wait.
But thank you so much, Art, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Have a good witchy day, y'all. Bye.
Bye.